Has your rear end been running a fever lately? I was just towing the king of the hammers, and I stuck a rectal thermometer in my rear end of my F250 diesel and noticed she was a little febrile. She was running a temperature of 4,200 degrees. Yep, the old rectal thermometer in the old rear end of the F250 was telling me I needed a prescription for a Banks rear end diff cover. So we got on the old interweb, talked to WebMD. They gave me a prescription for a Banks Power, Power Flow, High Flow rear diff. You know, that's going to help with the fever. We got all the necessary bolts and O-rings for that. We got the correct tools, 13 mil, 12 mil, half inch, 14. We got some extensions, 3/8 drive, half-inch drive. We got the old wire whistle there to clean up the edges of the old diff. We got the 75 140 weight Valvoline gear oil, a little sponge to clean up the edges. And let's just, throw that oil pan underneath and drain that oil. All right, taking your half-inch socket, take all the bolts out of the rear end and leave the top one in. And I'm going to take this paint deal and I'm going to just pry this cap off, slowly draining the oil. Take the cap out and slowly drain the oil into the old catch can. All right, so now that we got that off, you can go through and everything looks pretty darn pristine in here. You can see I've got 373 gears right there on the gear. And then it came with a little tag right there that shows the 75 140 weight. I didn't have a tag saying the gear size, but you could just look in there and see right there on the gear where it says 373. So we're just going to let this drain out, clean this out, and clean the edging so we have a nice smooth surface to mate the rear diff cover up and get her bolted back up. All right, once you have cleaned the edges, first you want to, put a patient's gown on. You want to cover up their hind end there. So, protect that hind end and just clean the mating surface as best as you can. There's little pockets in here that hold oil on the bottom. Clean those out. And we're ready to do the seal on the rear diff. All right, so let's slowly move this stuff out. Okay. And looks pretty good in there. Pretty clean. All right, so I used some gear oil to help seat this O-ring around the diff cover. Don't stretch the ring out because you'll end up with like an inch too long and people want to cut it. You got to push it flat and work it. Work it, work it. Work it flat around. Don't push it. And just guide it through your slippery fingers. And she'll go in nicely. So yeah, there is 0 left. Don't stretch it. Push it. And then all left to do is smack her on. Smack that rear end on. No more fevers. All right, after all that's said and done, the rear end's done. Not a bad job. Took maybe an hour, Then truck. We've been running a P0299 code for a little while now, and I believe it's a unison ring sticking. So we have to yank the turbo. We have a new turbo. We have a new SMB air intake. We have a Mishimoto radiator. Today being delivered is a bulletproof EGR, the H-Core, a new oil cooler, and this truck is about to go under the knife. So with that being said, I'm done for today. Stay tuned for a lot more.